Hey, what's up you guys? Nazim here. Welcome to Red Bull Galaxy episode number 2. Now guys, before I proceed with regards to today's topic, which is why I believe Goldilocks was a criminal and a fugitive of the law, let me tell you, when I thought about the name of this channel, Red Bull Galaxy, it's only afterwards, I think it was just a few minutes back, just before I started taping this video, that I realized that the Red Bull Galaxy, when you take it down to the acronym, the first letters of Red Bull Galaxy, you get RPG. An RPG, as many of you might know, is a rocket-propelled grenade. It's a weapon similar to a bazooka, but you put this lethal rocket on it, fire at your enemy, which I think is kind of cool. And I didn't plan it that way. All I did simply was, when you create these YouTube accounts, you're required to create an email address connected to the account. And because I didn't want to use my personal email because it's private, I wanted to create a name that is meaningful to this channel. So I tried all kinds of Red Bull connections. I tried redbull@gmail.com, taken, redbullworld@gmail.com, taken, and so on. And then finally I tried redbullgalaxy@gmail.com, and it works. So if you have any questions, mail me directly at redbullgalaxy@gmail.com, and as of now I'll just say welcome to RPG. So let's get into it, guys. We've been brainwashed to believe from an early age, from infancy, that Goldilocks and the Three Bears is a good story. It's fucking bad. Let me tell you, when I read this story to my kid, I've got a small boy, his name is Imran, and I'm living in the Russian Federation, by the way. I'm not Russian myself. I'm originally from Cape Town, South Africa, but my boy is Russian. He was born in St. Petersburg, formerly known as Leningrad. He's a blonde boy. His mom is Russian, and his father was a blondie, so yeah. Anyway, so whenever I read him the story, I teach my boy, I say to him, Imran, Goldilocks is a fucking criminal. She was a fugitive of the law. You should not look up to her as a savior. Okay? If this had to be a court of law, she would be convicted, tried, and prosecuted for the following crimes: breaking an entry illegally. The bears went out, they were minding their own business, and this bitch, this white, privileged, blonde bitch, decided to illegally break into their house. Crime number 1, breaking an entry. She decided to consume food that was not hers, and not just one bowl of porridge. She ate from the mother bear, the father bear, and the baby bear. She consumed food that wasn't hers. She broke furniture, broke the baby bear's chair. Now think about how's this baby boy now gonna sit down? She broke his fucking chair. She went into their private bedroom and slept in the most private place where they are living. And then finally, probably the most important crime, running away from a crime scene. Now it's one thing if you're caught by the police and you say, hey, you got me, I surrender. The prosecutor might give you a slightly lenient sentence. They might say, okay, you admitted to your crime, you didn't run away from the police, we caught you, and you admitted your mistakes. We all make mistakes. They might say, okay, we'll give you community service, say 5 days or 7 days community service, we're not going to send you to jail. She could have done that, but no, the bitch ran away. Now, what kind of example are we setting our kids here? If we say to them, oh, Goldilocks, she's such a good girl, she was only trying to be nice, and the bears, they're the unreasonable ones. Fuck that. I read my boy the story as well, and I say to him, don't be like this bitch. She's selfish, she's narcissistic, she takes no responsibility, she thinks it's perfectly okay to break into other people's property, to consume their food, break their furniture, sleep in their beds unwanted, run away from a crime scene, and still be looked up as a savior. Now, I think this story, if you look deeper into it, there's actually more serious connotations, things that people never speak about. And let me tell you, Goldilocks a white female, a white 9 out of 10 or 10 out of 10 in the looks department, attractive, blonde white female. If you look at the bears, these are brown bears with brown fur in the woods, in the ghetto. Now, black people, now just to make it clear, I'm not American, as you can hear my accent. I'm not American, I'm not from America, I'm from South Africa, I'm living in the Russian Federation. But I can tell you now, if you had to go to the United States, and if you look at the percentage of people that are incarcerated in prison, most of the people incarcerated are black men. And when we speak about black people, they don't have black skin. Black people have brown skin. So let's go back to Goldilocks and the 3 bears. Brown bears with brown fur, living in the woods, aka the ghetto. Black people living in the ghetto, just minding their own business. You've got a white, entitled, blonde, attractive bitch breaking into a black man's property, and she is looked at as the fucking hero, as the fucking savior. The black people are at fault for not cutting the white woman some slack. Why? I don't know. This is just how we've been socially conditioned, and you can slice it any way you want to, but the truth is, how many white women don't get away with fucking murder? Attractive white women, when they commit a crime, most of the time, they don't even get half the sentence that a black man does. Now when it comes to me, I'm fucking colorblind. If you come at me, if you attack me, I don't care what color you are. If you're white, black, yellow, Mexican, I don't care, I'm gonna come after you, I'm gonna finish you. But if you're good to me, if you treat me with respect, I will treat you with the same respect that you treated me, regardless of the color of your skin. So again, Goldilocks and the 3 bears, they are subliminally programming you to believe that if a woman is white, if she's beautiful, if she's a 9 out of 10, she can get away with murder. And unfortunately, that's what we see. This is not my opinion. Look at the statistics. What percentage of white women, beautiful white women, are in prison? And how many black men are in prison that committed exactly the same crime, but the attractive white woman always gets off, just like Goldilocks. So when you read your kids this story, or best yet, don't ever read it to them, but if you're forced to tell them this story, use the story to teach your kids that this is not the example that you should teach to other people. This is not the example that you should live by. You should arrest the bitch and throw her in prison for the crimes she committed. Not because she's white, but because she broke an entry, she stole food, she broke furniture, she slept in people's beds and soiled the sheets with her DNA, and she ran away from a fucking crime scene. Guys, we need to have more respect for ourselves. We need to stop allowing women to get away with murder. There's all this talk about equality. We need to start treating people equally. That's what they want, that's what they get. Alright, none of this bullshit about, oh, she's a damsel in distress, she was just trying to, sort her life out. Bullshit. I remember some time back, I was at this gym, Virgin Active, in Cape Town, South Africa, specifically the Steenbig branch. And what had happened was that there was this, coincidentally, a tall white female, a white blonde female, and she was doing a lat pull down exercise, pulling the lat machine down behind the neck. Now, I used to work as a personal trainer. I'm not working as one anymore. I do online marketing as my primary source of income. But what happened was that because I understood that pulling the bar behind the neck can injure the glenohumeral joint, in other words, the ball and socket joint, and it can also create a pinching of the nerve in the cervical spine around C6 and C7. I went up to her and I'm trying to paraphrase, I can't remember what I said because it was many, many years ago. I went up to her and said something along the effect of, excuse me, I'm not a personal trainer. In other words, I don't work here. I'm a member just like you, but please, may I show you a way to safely do this exercise to get the maximum benefit without injuring yourself. And you know what her response was? Her facial expression was something like she was disgusted that a subhuman like me would dare come up to her and offer her advice. And she said, no. What happened the next minute was I then said, okay, fine, no harm intended, I was just trying to help. I then walked over and did a set of dumbbell bench pressing, but with my peripheral vision, with the corner of my eye, because there's mirrors all over the place, I saw her go up to her boyfriend who was minding his own business, and I think he saw me going up to his girlfriend, but you know, I'm a fairly good judge of character when it comes to reading people's body language, you know, and from what I understood, when I went up to his girlfriend, he didn't seem to be perturbed at all. He was not upset about me approaching her at all. He was just, you know, sitting there doing the seated bench press, and he was just like, oh, well, you know, whatever. And she went up to him, and I couldn't hear what they were saying because of the distance between where I was and where she was standing. I think it must have been about probably 100 feet or so from where we were. And then she, with using a body language, said something along the following effect. Pointing at me. And I could clearly see that her boyfriend was quite uncomfortable. He didn't know what to do. He was just minding his own business, doing a seated, chest press, and she's like, something like, this bitch you did, coming up to me. He's like, yeah. So what happened now was that she put him in a very uncomfortable situation, whereby he is now forced to do one of two things. He confronts me and shows that he's a fucking man, because he doesn't want to look like a pussy, or he's going to do nothing and say, hey, you know, maybe you misunderstood, and be seen as a pussy. You see, this is what women do. They love shit-testing men. Number one, with myself, she thought, at least, you know, in her opinion, who am I, a non-white male? Remember, we had apartheid in South Africa, so this idea of white supremacy is still alive, even though it is illegal to say so verbally. You know, you can get arrested for discriminating against people, but there's all these subtle ways through which people can discriminate without making it too obvious. So she obviously looked at me, and I'm like, who the hell are you? You know, I'm up here, you down there. Number one. And number two, she went up to her boyfriend, threw a bitch fit, this guy, putting him on the spot, forcing him to confront me and show her that he is an alpha male. And what then happened was that he actually didn't come directly up to me. He came next to me, did a set of curls, looked at me, walked away, because I think that he was kind of sussing me out, trying to see and figure what he's going to say. And then after doing another set, he comes up to me and he says, excuse me, are you here to pick up chicks, or are you here to train? And I said, what the fuck? And he said, are you here to pick up chicks or here to train? And I said, the fuck you talking about? If you're talking about your girlfriend, she was doing an exercise incorrectly, and I tried to help her by showing her the correct way of doing it. And he says, I don't care. You know, so he was like a beta male trying to pretend to be an alpha. And I told him, dude, lay down. I was just trying to help, that's the end of it. And he said, well, I hope you're here to train. That's all. You know, so this is how women manipulate men with their beauty, with their status, etc. All I'm saying is, go your own way, focus on improving yourself, and never put a bitch first. Guys, I hope you enjoyed. Drop your comments below, like the video, write your comments, ask me any questions, Don't forget to subscribe, ring the bell notification, and if you haven't done so already, check out my Patreon channel, and I'll see you again next time. From Russia with love. Cheers for now.